This is Noise from the Cranium. My name is Doug, and in this episode I'm going to take a look at some of the sights I saw on my recent trip to the UK. Over the years, the lyrics of some of my favorite songs have acted like a travelogue of iconic British locations. When I recently had the opportunity to be a tourist in London, I gravitated to a few places that I was familiar with due to my love of prog rock and British invasion music. There were bucket list items and things that I simply came across by chance. Cheap Day Return is one of my favorite Jethro Tull songs. A Cheap Day Return refers to a reduced price train ticket where the traveler goes to and from their destination on the same day. Jethro Tull main man Ian Anderson bought a Cheap Day Return ticket from London to Blackpool via Lancashire to visit his dad, who was seriously ill and in the hospital, and then proceeded to write a song about it.
On present platform, do your soft shoe shuffle dance. Brush away the cigarette ash that's falling down your pants. And then you sadly wonder, does the nurse treat your old man the way she should? She made you tea, asked for your autograph. What a laugh.
Imagine my surprise when completely by chance I found myself on the very Preston platform that Anderson talks about in the song, on my way from Liverpool to Edinburgh. I couldn't resist, so I shot a little clip.
I'm on Preston platform, where Ian Anderson a long time ago did his soft shoe shuffle dance and brushed the cigarette ash from his pants.
Keeping up with the Jethro Tull theme, Jeffrey wasn't the only guy to go to Leicester Square.
Right city woman, walking down Leicester Square every day. Gonna get a piece of my mind. You think you're not a piece of my kind. Everywhere the people looking, why don't you get up and sing?
Here I am in that fabled London tourist haunt. I'm not sure what I expected, but it wasn't this.
This is Noise from the Cranium. My name is Doug. I'm in Leicester Square. This is where Ian Anderson got the name Leicester Square in his song, Jeffrey Goes to Leicester Square. I'm sure Jeffrey was here, Jeffrey Hammond. He was right here on this spot in 1969. I'm here now, Jeffrey's not around. I don't know where he is, but what a great song. Great band, great place.
While in Liverpool, naturally we had to take in the Magical Mystery Tour.
Let me take you down, 'cause I'm going to Strawberry Fields. Nothing is real, and nothing to get hung about. Strawberry Fields forever.
We saw where George was born, where Ringo's Sentimental Journey album cover was shot, where John and Paul lived as youngsters, Penny Lane, Strawberry Fields. Of course, the tour ended at the Cavern Club, a rebuilt version of the original club the Beatles played in the early 60s. Very cool and very iconic. This statue of Cilla Black is where the original entrance to the club was. XTC guitarist and singer Andy Partridge wrote most of Towers of London in his coal shed in Swindon.
Towers of London, when they had built you, did you watch over the men who fell?
He used the tower for his commentary comparing the disparity between the elite in British society and the labourers. I didn't go to the tower because of the song, but the song reminded me that I went to the tower. The Roundhouse is an iconic music venue steeped in history. Staying at a flat in Camden Town, we walked past the Roundhouse just north of us in Chalk Farm many times.
This is Noise from the Cranium. My name is Doug. I'm standing outside the Roundhouse.
Built in 1846, it was originally a railway turntable and became a performing arts venue more than 100 years later in 1964. Iconic rock performances over the years read like a who's who of rock music aristocracy, with appearances by the likes of The Doors, Stones, Jeff Beck, The Yardbirds, The Who, Bowie, Hendrix, Pink Floyd, Zeppelin, the list goes on. Sadly, there were no events happening that I was interested in, so I didn't get inside while I was there. But here's a classic performance by Nick Mason's Saucer Full of Secrets, recorded live at the Roundhouse.
Arnold Lane had a strange hobby, letting clothes moonshine washing light. It suits him fine.
Speaking of Camden Town, we accidentally stumbled upon a couple of cool music totems, the Amy Winehouse statue in Camden Market, and a music Walk of Fame tile on the sidewalk near the market honoring the Kinks, which was very cool.
Dirty old river, must you keep rolling, flowing into the night. People so busy, make me feel dizzy, taxi light shines so bright. But I don't need no friends, as long as I gaze on Waterloo sunset, I am in paradise.
While we saw the outside of Abbey Road on the Classic Rock bus tour, we were delighted to have a rare opportunity to actually get a tour inside Abbey Road. The client list of Abbey Road Studios reads like a who's who of music. The Beatles, the Hollies, Donovan, Pink Floyd, Procol Harum, the Zombies, Kate Bush, Eric Clapton, David Bowie, Rush, Radiohead, and Muse, just to name a few. We saw the famed Studio 2, where most of the Beatles recordings were made. We saw the piano Paul McCartney played on Lady Madonna, the Celeste that Pink Floyd used on Dark Side of the Moon, the Challen piano that the Beatles used on many songs, including Fool on the Hill, A Day in the Life, and Paperback Writer. It was also used by the Zombies and Pink Floyd. Newer additions to the studio space were these sound booths. Then there's the large Studio 1, perfectly suited for recording orchestras. In fact, it was used back in the day by Prokofiev, Stravinsky, and a host of others. It's also where movie soundtracks are recorded. Raiders of the Lost Ark, Return of the Jedi, Lord of the Rings, and Harry Potter were all recorded here. We hung out in the canteen and capped it off with a shopping trip in the Abbey Road gift shop. What a great day! On a Classic Rock bus tour of London, we zoomed past a few iconic places. Here's Portobello Road, and where in the background the motorway flyover is where Hawkwind and the Pink Fairies would play for free on their flatbed truck. We saw Jimmy Page's current residence, former residences of Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, Van Morrison, Eric Clapton, Charlie Watts, and Brian Epstein, the location where David Bowie's Ziggy Stardust album cover was shot, the place where Hendrix died, the pub where Phil Lynott apparently had his last drink, and the location of Apple Records on Savile Row, where the Beatles performed on the rooftop. While on a pub and walking tour of Hampstead, we walked by the Flask, the watering hole where Colin Blunstone regularly met Alan Parsons. It was these regular meetings that led to Blunstone singing on the Alan Parsons Project albums. We also walked past a massive old church. When I mentioned it to my friend in London, he advised me that it's George Martin's Air Studios. Who knew? On a non-music related topic, I randomly took this photo in Hampstead. Then, back home, watching an interview with Ricky Gervais. He was filmed taking a walk in his neighborhood, and they walked right past this sign. I saw Belsize Park, where Fish had his liaison with Kaylee, and Soho, where Al Stewart was alone on the streets on a Friday.
Soho, needless to say, I'm alone on your streets on a Friday evening. I've been here all of the day, going nowhere with nowhere to go.
And where Phil Collins says that's where your kids go.
The streets are Soho, oh, that's where your kids go. The streets are Soho, Chinatown or Flamingo.
I saw where Mick Jagger saw Mr. Jimmy at the Chelsea drugstore, now a McDonald's by the way. One bucket list item was the monumental Stonehenge, located on the Salisbury Plain. This is Noise from the Cranium. My name is Doug. We've got something special today. We're on a tour of England, and we've taken it out to the countryside, to Stonehenge. On the Salisbury Plain, it's iconic. What else can you say? Amazing. Of course, Uriah Heep has a song and album called Salisbury, the song being a 16-minute epic with orchestra. There have been a number of songs memorializing Stonehenge, but the one that comes to mind for me is, of course, the hilarious Spinal Tap.
In ancient times, hundreds of years before the dawn of history, lived an ancient race of people, the Druids. No one knows who they were or what they were doing, but their legacy remains.
in all, the sights were staggering, but for all of the things we saw, there are many, many more things we didn't have time to see. Maybe next time. This has been Noise from the Cranium. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.
Stonehenge, where the demons dwell, where the banshees live, and they do live well. Stonehenge, where a man's a man, and the children dance to the pipes of Pan. And you, my love, won't you take my hand? We'll go back in time to that mystic land where the dewdrops cry and the cats meow. I will take you there, I will show